The true powers of the Millennium items. Let's watch.
The Millennium items are 7 magical objects that were created
I'm
through a
familiar with
dark
this,
spell
yes.
for the original purpose of fighting against an unwinnable threat. The Millennium Key,
I don't
the
remember
Millennium
much of the
Scale,
last season
the
of...
Millennium Necklace.
You know what happens? I'm already like pausing the video, but you know what happens to me? Because I watched the first 2 seasons, or the first 2 arcs, right? Like the when it was on TV and we have nothing to watch. Yeah, I'm already doing this. Back in my day, we have to watch the things on TV, so there was always reruns of the first things, like Duelist Kingdom and Battle City. I watched those many times, right? Also the thing that was in between, the arc that was in between the Battle City. Yeah. There's a dog barking outside, but yeah, it's too late right now. We're already reacting. So I remember those, but I don't remember much of the last arc for some reason. I have more memories of GX and the first season of GX, the first arc, like that I watched many times, but not from the last season of Duel Monster for some reason. Also because TV, endless flashbacks. Yeah, exactly. I was told that was just good. They didn't rerun the last arc. Oh, they didn't? Interesting. Okay, maybe I'm not going crazy then. Because I don't remember much of it. I should probably rewatch this.
The Millennium Eye, the Millennium Rod, the Millennium Ring, and the Millennium Puzzle. All of these items possess a handful of abilities that they grant their wielder, as well as one very powerful exclusive ability unique just to that item. Today, we're going to be learning exactly what each Millennium item can do in its entirety. However, before we can do that, we need to first learn how these things came to be.
Oh, thank God! I thank God! I really need to know
years
this.
Before the start of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters series, a great war took place in Egypt. The pharaoh of the time had led his city and people to the brink of destruction. This had happened because he wanted peace against an army that had no intention of backing down.
Oh no!
Under intense pressure, the pharaoh finally agreed to take the advice of his brother Akhenaten, who told of a book that housed a spell that was able to awaken an ancient power.
I've never seen this character. I really feel like I've never seen these characters before.
The book was known as the Millennium Spellbook. The pharaoh agreed and ordered his brother to decipher the book and use its magic to win the war. Akhenaten did as he bid. However, he soon realized that the spell to create this ancient power would require a great cost.
No, I'm sure this was in the dub. I'm pretty sure this was in the dub, right?
That cost being 99 human souls. Knowing that the pharaoh would never agree to such an inhumane act, Akhenaten chose to keep this dark deed a secret, believing the lives of the many outweighed the lives of the few. And so, Akhenaten and his soldiers, under the veil of night, crept into the city of Kul El Nar and rounded up 99.
Wait, you're just gonna kill like 9 random people instead of like, I don't know, criminals?
Criminals.
Oh,
Their blood,
okay. Okay. Wait, hold on.
Kul El Nar and rounded up 99 known criminals.
Okay, cool. I mean, if you have to, right?
Their blood, bones, and flesh were thrown into a melting pot of gold. The deed was horrific. However, from it birthed 7 of the most powerful items in the entire world. With each of the pharaoh's high priests wielding one of these items, they were able to decimate the invading army by summoning creatures of war through the item's dark magic. So that's how these things came into being. Now, what can they do?
Alright.
The Millennium items come in 2 categories, those of justice and those of darkness. The Millennium Key, Scale, and Necklace, and those that wield them, embody justice.
Okay.
This influence of justice is derived from the purpose in which they were made for, to save lives and prevent suffering.
Yes, criminals in quotation marks. No chance they were just considered such by the government as an excuse to justify their actions, sure. You might be into something.
Millennium Ring, Rod and Eye, however, and their wielders embody darkness. This influence was derived from the way that they were created, as they were forged through a horrific act. But you will all notice that there is one item missing, the Millennium Puzzle. The Millennium Puzzle represents both of these moralities, justice and darkness. As such, the one that wields the Millennium Puzzle is capable of doing great things in the world, and just as equally, they are capable of horrific acts. So those are the Millennium items.
The lost season.
Now what are their shared powers? All Millennium items grant the wielder the power to instigate a shadow game. A shadow game occurs when two people are locked in a battle. A purple mist will envelop the area around those involved. The purpose of this is simply to prevent any outside interference, making whatever game is being played unable to be interrupted. The choice of game played, the unique rules of that game, and the price of losing that game are determined by the one who instigated the shadow game.
Doesn't sound fair because it's always such a random thing, right? It's always so like random thing that you include in the shadow game, and I don't know if there is like rules about it exactly. Like, what is the extent of it?
It is very important that you obey the rules that are laid out by the person that instigated the shadow game, as any attempt to break the rules will result in an extreme punishment. Also, the loser of these games is usually always subject to some sort of steep penalty. Getting your mind erased, your grandfather's soul being sealed inside of a card, the darkness inside of you being exorcised, or what seems to be the default option, having your soul just ripped from your body. I mean, getting sent to the Shadow Realm. No one dies in Yu-Gi-Oh! All Millennium items grant the wielder a much higher immunity to the Shadow Game's atmosphere, as well as a higher immunity from other Millennium items' influences. So for example, Marek can't mind control somebody else with a Millennium item just to make them give him their Millennium item. Or Ishizu can't really see the future of Millennium item wielders, since they are able to defy destiny due to the fact that they hold a Millennium item.
Is that true?
A great example of this is where Joey is possessed by Marek. Due to his strong will, he is able to subdue Marek's influence. However, it's only until Yugi puts the Millennium Puzzle on him does Marek's influence completely disappear.
Interesting.
There is one exception to this.
Okay, there is an exception.
And that is the fact Pegasus's Millennium Eyes ability, which we'll talk about a bit later, does not seem to be negated at all by Yugi's Millennium Puzzle. That is unless you count the fact that Yugi and Atem could switch souls, that kind of negated that ability. All Millennium items grant the wielder the power to summon and communicate with duel monster spirits. Though this mainly occurs in duels by giving the monsters tangibility, causing real world damage to each other, it does occur outside of duels as well. All Millennium items grant the wielder a small degree of mastery of magic.
Now what does that mean? What does a small degree of mastery over magic means?
While not Harry Potter levels and certainly not Gandalf levels of magical mastery, get some sort of small time level 1 magical spells.
Level 1 magical spells.
You can project yourself over a long distance. Maybe
I don't know, that sounds kind of strong to me.
You put yourself in a TV screen, cast a spell on people to force them to fall asleep, create a barrier around yourself to stop yourself from being burned alive. You know, little things like that.
Yeah, see, that now that doesn't sound so like small. Too bad we can do IRLs so I can show you. What are you talking about? Oh, that's telekinesis? Yeah, I guess you can call it telekinesis, yeah. Wonder what is will make of Judice or the other or the Odo. I don't know anything about that.
Finally, it is believed that all Millennium items grant the wielder a single wish when first obtained. It's hard
I've
to
heard
say
about
if this
that.
ability applies to all the Millennium items or specifically just the Millennium Puzzle, but just hear me out for 1 second. Yugi
wanted
wished
friends?
for the ability to make bonds with others.
Okay.
Following the completion of the puzzle, he made countless new friends on his journey. So, Yugi had his wish granted there, okay? Bakura was also a lonely child, and he too wished to make friends. While not shown in the Duel Monsters anime, if we turn to the Toei animation, we see that the Millennium Ring was actually granting his wishes of gaining new friends. However, to be fair, this is kind of like a monkey's paw thing. It was actually Yami Bakura granting his wishes by sealing people inside of like little figurines as his friends. But eventually, Bakura did become friends with the main cast of Yu-Gi-Oh! So he did get his wish as well. Maximilian Pegasus wished to be reunited with his long-lost love Cecilia.
But that
upon
didn't
having
happen.
the Millennium Eye implanted into him, he was able to see and hold his
Yeah, I don't think that
albeit
counts.
only for a very short time. Rather than seeing this as closure, saying goodbye to someone for a final time, Maximilian Pegasus kind of went the opposite direction with this. Pegasus saw this as an opportunity to actually bring his wife back from the dead, as he truly believed that if he gathered all 7 of the Millennium items together, it could grant this wish. Marek most likely wished to be free from the shackles of his Tomb Keeper duties and to be able to see the world. This is something that would come to pass after he freed himself, unfortunately, with the Millennium Rod. His sister Ishizu most likely wished for a brother and Odeon to be able to all live happily together. And although it would take a while, this would come true. Shadi was
I don't know. It's kind of weird, right? Because some of them like took a lot longer than others. The one for Yugi was basically instant, right? And the other ones are, I guess Pegasus one also was kind of instant, but not really what he wanted. I don't know.
always kind of an obscure character. However, thanks to the Dark Side of Dimensions movie, we actually got to see what he wished for.
The fact that Pegasus was straight is the yeah. I mean, I don't know. It feels weird, right? Because you see the character and you always assume something, and then oh, he's actually like married, right? He was actually married to a woman, and I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? Interesting. I still refuse to accept that Pegasus is 24. Yeah, there is so many weird things with Pegasus, right? How is he 24? Like, I feel like he should at least be like 30, right? And that's being generous. Like, 24 doesn't seem right at all. I guess he didn't have to be straight. You're right. Like, I remember it, but still. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, he's also like 24, and he's meant to be like a successful millionaire artist and game designer or whatever, right? Yeah, he owns a massive company, and he was, you know, the worst part about it is that he was an artist, right? He was a painter. The game design like came out of nowhere, right? Same with the how he became like an archaeologist, businessman, and he's 24, and he's 24 like at the time of the story, but he was successful like way before. For comparison, Darts was only 21. Well, okay, Darts had a very different life, I think. Like Kaiba is one thing, but he's supposed to be a child prodigy who took it from his adopted father, so makes sense. I guess Kaiba makes sense too. I guess you could say that. Like, because he took it from his what's his name? Kusaburo or something? Yeah, that makes sense. I guess. I don't know.
He wished for all of the Millennium items to be reunited in the Tablet of the Pharaoh's Lost Memories. This was so that when the door to a new world was opened, those that wished could enter, now being free from all hate and discrimination of the world. The fact that Shadi actually had 2 Millennium items, you could say that both of these items were trying to grant the same wish for him. Fun fact, Shadi actually gets killed by Bakura. Yeah, Shadi is a ghost the entire time you see him from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters series. So maybe his second ability was to foresee the completion of this by still sticking around. Possibly. However, what I do know is their individual powers. Let's start first with the Millennium Puzzle.
Okay, what does this actually do?
Grants the one who solves it the ability to draw upon its power to help in dire situations.
Oh.
This is a fancy way of saying that if you are in the middle of a duel and you're about to lose, you're in a really dire situation. However, you know that there is a card in your deck that could help you out in this situation if only you would draw it next turn. The power of the Millennium Puzzle
Oh, so what people usually hello Kuranin. Yeah, so what people used to call like, oh, Yugi's cheating is actually like an ability of the of the Millennium Puzzle. Okay, okay, dude.
will help you out here and increase the chances of you drawing that card on your next turn. And the more dire the situation, the more powerful this ability becomes.
Literally plot
Even
armor.
more,
So
the Millennium
true.
Puzzle gives you a luck boost. However, remember, the Millennium Puzzle is the strongest of the Millennium items.
Is it?
And it possesses the power of justice and darkness. So that means it holds a second power. The Millennium Puzzle also grants its wielder the ability to seal a soul inside of the puzzle, locking whomever is sealed by binding them with a single word. In the case of Atem, he seals himself and Zork necrophades using his name as the locking key. After this, all records of Atem's name are destroyed. This is to prevent Zork from ever being freed again, because if no one knows the Pharaoh's name, no one can unlock the spell. The Millennium Eye grants the one who implants it the ability to look into the minds of others. The practical use of this ability in the real world is you can know what people are thinking all the time, which is really good. However, in a duel, it helps even more, as it allows you to see the cards that your opponents are holding and know exactly.
What an ability to have in a shonen about card games, right? I feel like that is huge. That's the thing. If Yugi was actually cheating, he would have been called out for it, like the other characters. That, yeah, exactly. Like people saying that he's cheating makes absolutely no sense. Plot armor, yeah, that's something that I can see it, but not actually cheating.
Exactly what strategies they are thinking of at all times. The Millennium Ring grants the one who wears it the ability to lead you to whatever you most desire. Simply enough, the ring acts as a compass. It leads you in the direction of anything you seek. Practicality in a duel is hard to say. Bakura never uses this thing in a duel to help him out at all, so it could be assumed it's not helpful. However, I guess you could make a case that, let's say you wanted to destroy a card in your opponent's side of the field, but they're all face down. Maybe the ring could lead you in the right directions by sort of pointing at a powerful monster, a trap card, or a powerful card in the hand. That's just a theory, a Yu-Gi-Oh theory. However, unfortunately, the Millennium Ring is also corrupted with the fragments of the souls of Zork and Thief King Bakura, which is a shame because if I could have any Millennium item, I would probably pick the ring. It's a shame I'm gonna get possessed in the process. The Millennium Key grants the one who wields it the ability to unlock the door to a person's soul and enter it. Inside you see
What the
everything that makes up a person. Their hopes, their dreams, their personality, they're all personified as rooms in the soul. However, you aren't limited to just looking around. You're also able to rearrange them.
What is he wearing? What are those pants shoes? I just believe it's a significance of names to souls in Egyptian folklore, literally part of the soul. That archetype function as they do by name. I didn't know that. It's why a lot of cards for Atem, like through name, let you declare card names. Oh, interesting. I'm so mad the ring was never used that way. It will explain some of Yami Bakura's plays. The ring was telling him what plays to make for most likely course of victory. And it doesn't happen in the anime? I feel like it's so telegraphed, like something that definitely will happen.
The rooms inside. By doing this, you can alter a person in any way you want. Essentially, to be blunt, you are incepting ideas into people's souls and changing their character.
Like
yes,
Inception?
Just like that movie.
Yes.
Was...
No way, he predicted my thing like Inception. Yes, dude. Okay.
Kind of a hard one. I don't really know how you could use this ability in a duel. I guess you could change their personality to make them play more defensive to sort of match your playstyle, or more aggressive because you got loads of traps. Big brain, we figured it out, never mind. The Millennium Rod grants the one who wields it the ability to control the minds of others.
Little mind
control. Use this
control.
ability to bewitch people to serve you. Not only can you have just mind slaves though, You can also project your own mind into one of these slaves and duel through them. If you can't be there in person, or you want to send a couple waves of minions after people to sort of wear them down or defeat them before you even get there, that's quite helpful. And of course, the super secret power of the Millennium Rod that I forgot to mention. The Millennium Rod also comes with a handy dagger. The Millennium Necklace grants the one who wears it the ability to see into the past and future. This power gives the wielder the ability to see short glimpses of the past to know where people came from, who they descended from, and just global events that you need to know about. And of course, you can see what will happen in the future. Very, very useful if you're going into a duel, as you will essentially know everything you will draw and every move your opponent will make. And this would be an overpowered ability, except for one thing.
What's the
those
thing?
with a strong will able to
Those
change
with
their
a
fate
strong
can
will.
defy
Sure,
what the
dude.
Millennium Necklace sees. Seto Kaiba, for example, was able to defy fate and defeat a Shizu
Hold on, what does he say there?
sees. Seto Kaiba, for example,
Is it possible that his memory is sealed within the Millennium Rod? It was not to take anything away from Kaiba's badass moment, but the Millennium Rod, past life used to wield this, help him out. This also reinforces Millennium items resist the powers of other items. Okay, now this makes more sense. Like, Kaiba is still really cool, but this is an actual explanation.
was able to defy fate and defeat a Shizu in a duel, even though she had foresaw his defeat. The Millennium Scale grants the one who wields it the ability to sense lies and deception, while also revealing the level of darkness a person has in their heart. Very practical in a duel. By using the scale, you can sense when an opponent is trying to trick you or lure you into a trap due to deceit. Never fall for trap cards again. That's a really cool power. However, outside of dueling, the ability to just know when someone is lying to you is something that I think a lot of people would love to have. Also, being able to know if a person you're talking to is not a good person, this will definitely help with who you decide to be your friend in life. That's also a good power. Oh, I forgot to mention, you can also do one more thing. If the darkness in someone's heart is so great, well, the scales will instantly kill them.
What is this? I like how this implies that there is just like good and bad, like that the world is like black and white, that there is like bad, like just good and bad people, that just straight up, and if you're like really bad, you just die. I love that. Thank you, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yes, and with that, that is all the powers of the Millennium items explained. Thank you all for watching. Catch you later. Bye, everyone.
Really cool video, really cool video. Honestly, now I can now I feel so knowledgeable about Yu-Gi-Oh. Now I can pretend that I actually remember what happens in the anime. Totally. The scale of Anubis, basically. These are the scale used by Anubis to weigh the sins of humans. Oh, it's an actual thing. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Well, I'm so sorry. But yeah, dude, amazing video. I like it. I really like it.